welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett,
I'm Dorian.
and we might have video this week.
We might, if you're watching us on YouTube, yo. So,
Hello again.
hello again. It's been a while.
Hello there. It's been a while. Yeah. So what do we got this week, Dorian?
Well, we're going to be talking about that Mortal Kombat trailer. It finally came out. We're also going to be talking about Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. We're going to be talking about the latest WandaVision episode, but to kick things off, the biggest news of the week, we finally got a proper Nintendo Direct. Not a mini, not like a special like one-off for like, Mario's 35th anniversary or Monster Hunter, like an actual like regular
real
Nintendo
Direct.
A real Direct.
A 50-minute Direct.
And we're going to go over why that kind of didn't hit for us here. So let's start off. We're just going to be going through like kind of the things that were the most notable.
The highlights for us.
Yeah, the things that were most notable, the things that had us most interested in. So first thing on that, Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is in Smash. She is going to be the fourth character from this Fighters Pass DLC.
Yeah, and I don't care about this at all.
No.
So I feel like this was and I don't know if it was Nintendo just didn't understand that nobody really cares about this character, but especially after not having a proper Direct for a long time, we got this character from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which me and you, I haven't played it. I'm not a fan of the series.
I haven't even played any of them really.
How about giving us a character that people actually care about and starting it off with a bang?
Right. I mean, here's the thing. After we got Sephiroth from back in December, we should have probably expected that the next one wasn't going to be as hype as he was, for one.
Yeah.
But yeah, as someone who's never played the game, this legitimately does nothing for me. So
I was like, I didn't even know what game she was from when they announced her. I was like, is this some Final Fantasy ripoff game I've never heard of?
Right. So,
but to be fair, I mean, here's the deal. Like, they should have, honestly, they probably should have waited on Sephiroth for this Direct if they knew that they were going to do a big Direct at this point, or flip the script and had someone else. Like, you could have given us a myriad of characters that we would have liked better. So,
I mean, in all honesty, yeah, probably. I mean, it's
Crash Bandicoot for one.
Crash Bandicoot would have been hype.
Wario.
But yeah, well, I mean, here's
Waluigi, sorry.
Yeah.
We get him in golf.
I mean, we'll more on that in a little bit here.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, like, here's the thing. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that came out a full year before Smash Ultimate. If they were like legitimately willing to have their character make an appearance in Smash, and they were like, contemplating it, I don't understand like why this wasn't something that happened like from the get-go, when the game first launched, because I feel like the opportunity was there. Kind of like the same thing with like, how we got an ARMS character, just like last March or whenever it was. It's kind of like, okay, I mean, fine, but you had every opportunity to put her in like at the very beginning. You guys work behind the scenes. You guys know the characters and which games are coming out. So it seems odd that now of all times when we're paying for DLC, especially when you set a precedent earlier with the first Fighters Pass, that it was going to be all outside of like Nintendo's umbrella essentially here. So
yeah, very odd choice.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, I mean, she does seem like an interesting character to play as, just because, you're essentially playing as two characters here. You're transforming between like I think both of her forms. I don't know. I haven't played the game, but I mean, from what I gather,
Yeah,
that's
that's what it
essentially
sounds like.
that's what it sounds like is happening here. So, but I mean, we'll see how she plays. I mean, granted, I would have definitely preferred like something else instead of this. I mean,
I think many
I
of
don't
us
know.
would,
Yeah, I mean, the only people who I feel like are actually fans of this are the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 crowd here, which I mean, granted, sure, fine. I mean, have a day here and all that, but this is not like something like even like Steve coming to Minecraft is
Right,
kind of a
yeah.
big deal because I
Bigger than
mean,
this, yeah.
right, it is. I mean, and it makes sense because it's such a big franchise here. This is kind of a smaller thing, kind of niche, and I don't know how many people like have actually played this game here. So, but I digress.
Yeah, moving along, I guess, because I don't have anything else to say about her if you don't.
Yeah.
So,
I really don't know. No.
Yeah, so Fall Guys is also coming to Switch this summer.
Yeah.
It obviously
Yeah.
fits on the platform.
It really
It's
does.
been out
Yeah.
for a while. I probably won't play it on Switch unless Tim Seabrook wants to play it because he doesn't own anything else.
Yeah.
Uh,
No kidding.
kind of a bigger one, I guess, was Legends of Mana because I've never played Legends of Mana, so
Yeah.
or Legend of Mana
Neither have
because
I.
everyone, I
Neither
mean,
have I.
everyone seems to at least touched on Secret of Mana or Mana, however you want
Yeah.
to say
That's
it.
a big one. Yeah.
So, and this is like an HD kind of, not HD, but a remake kind of, better graphics. It looked like a little bit cleaner, but not like an HD
Yeah.
version of the game. But I mean,
No.
it'll probably be a $30 game, I'm guessing.
I,
$20,
I I
$30.
would think so. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if they try to justify the price higher than that. But no, this isn't a straight up remake like how Trials of Mana was, where they completely did modernized graphics and
Yeah.
systems and all that. So, I mean, I'm a sucker for 16-bit JRPGs, and I loved Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo. So I'm definitely interested in checking this one out.
Yeah, so honestly, the next game was probably the big surprise for me, just from a just watching standpoint. Was
Yeah,
Mario Golf makes its return with Mario Golf Super Rush, and it's
yeah,
coming out in a few months. Coming out June 25th, and honestly, like the Super Rush mode, like that looks
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That looks fun to play with
Yeah
some friends.
the speed golf mode I
Yeah, I
think
can't
is
remember
like
what
what
they
they
called it.
officially
Yeah,
called. I think it is. Yeah,
yeah. So the
yeah,
speed golf, where basically everyone hits their balls and the first one to make it into it, like you're running across the area, and you can actually use your Joycons, kind of like a Wiimote, basically back in like golf for
yeah.
Wii.
Like we sports golf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that actually looks fun.
Really surprised now that you mention it that at least as far as I remember, we didn't get like a actual Mario Golf game for the Wii here.
Yeah,
So
that's to
that's
my memory,
interesting.
we don't have one.
From my memory, we don't have one either. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm not really a big sports games guy. I mean, like the only sports games I'll even think about touching are kind of the more arcadey stuff, like NBA Jam or
Yeah,
something like
totally.
that. Um, and I was completely ready just to pass on this game, but after seeing the speed golf mode, yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It's always your turn. You're basically just trying to get to your ball first and sink your ball into the hole before anybody else here, and you're getting power ups to run across the golf course and all
Yeah,
that. I mean, yeah, I mean that looks like a good time, and even like the story mode kind of looks interesting just because it's kind of RPG based. You're leveling up. You're improving like stats for your golf swing. So maybe pick it up at some point. I don't know. I mean it does look like a good time like when with friends here, I would say. So,
for sure.
yeah.
The next one up, definitely a contender for a new game that I want to get into. It's Project Triangle Strategy, which I'm
Yeah.
guessing that is not the name of the actual game. Uh,
You never know because
it is a
when
JRPG, so
yes. And
uh,
also when they announce Project Octopath Traveler, That was
That's
supposed to be
true.
that was supposed to be the working title, and then they just went with Octopath Traveler here and just nixed
Yeah,
the
if this game's
project in
called
the
Triangle
title.
Strategy, it would still make sense based on what I know because I did play a little of the demo because it came out the day that they dropped the direct. So it would
Yeah.
actually make sense if it was called Triangle Strategy now that I think of it. And it comes out in 2022. We don't have any other details other than if you didn't see it, it has the same. It's made by Square Enix. It's the
Mhm.
same style as Octopath Traveler.
Pretty sure it's the
Um,
same
same
team as
studio. Yeah,
well.
same. It's got to be the same team.
I'd be
In my
surprised if it
head,
wasn't.
if they're not going to do like a sequential sequel, like hey, this is the sequel to Octopath Traveler, or if that team is just going to go, hey, we're going to make a couple of games, like
Right.
this could be kind of the successor to Octopath, except for I just don't like that they if this is the case, that's where I'm going with this. If this is the case, I don't like that they changed the battle system. The battle system is basically Fire Emblem. Uh,
Yeah.
so I would have liked it to stay if the kind of Final Fantasy old school one, but I hope this is just a
Right.
whole
Turn
different
base.
entry. Personally, I hope it's its own line. Heavy
Yeah.
story base is what it seems like with some battles thrown in there, very similar to Fire Emblem. The movement's almost
Very much so. Yeah.
the exact same. The fighting is the exact same. It's basically just Fire Emblem with a old school skin on it, in my opinion.
By and large, yeah. I mean, they did show some things that I'm kind of interested in terms of like terrain and environment, like how you could light the terrain on fire, and then you
Yeah,
could
you
also
can.
like say you use ice to like make it like damp. So then that if you use like electric
Electric,
or
yeah.
like some,
Yeah, so that is very interesting, and I didn't get to play enough to really delve into that, but the way you can interact with the environment and with other magic and stuff is very cool. That is a cool part of it.
yeah,
And then comboing off people depending on where you're at and where they're at. And yeah, I guess if you're the higher up you are, like whoever has the high ground, you're going to do more damage, especially if you're long range.
it's
Obi-Wan knew
over.
that. Yeah, so very excited for this. This comes out next year.
Yeah, yeah, no projected like month or anything like that. I mean, which kind of a shame. I mean, I would have hoped that we would have gotten this like, you know, sooner rather than later. Um I'm I'm in the camp of thinking that this isn't a sequel to Octopath Traveler. I'm thinking this is more like this is essentially the next thing that they're working on. They wanted to use the engine again. They wanted to do something a little bit different from like your traditional JRPG format. So I think yeah, they're just aiming with the kind of the strategy game format, and it seems
Yeah.
like there's going to be more of a like a whole like a choice based thing.
Yes.
Who knows how like much difference that will
I think
play here.
I think it'll play a big one because there was someone on my team. Now here's the deal with the demo, you get thrown in the middle of a game. It's like act 6 or something like that.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
yeah, you get thrown in the middle. You have no idea what's going on. Like with all the because there's like a bunch of commentary obviously with the different characters. And so I talked to this one and because she had like like an exclamation point above her head. So basically
Yeah.
before battles you have opportunity to talk with your team and make decisions and do things. And I think I wanted her to stay around. I was like, "Hey, we need your sword," type of thing. But you had other
Yeah.
options like, "Hey, you can leave." So I'm wondering if your team dynamics play a big part of it. And then you know, based on how I think you could have very different outcomes of this game. This might have really big replayability in my opinion.
It could, yeah,
Um
just like Three Houses did, where like essentially you're getting like almost three different versions of a 60-hour campaign
yeah, for
essentially
sure.
here.
Yeah, and
Um
I'd be into that.
Well, and like one of the things that interested me about this whole thing was in terms of like the choices and all that is essentially it sounds like from what the trailer made it out to be was a voting system where you're essentially trying to convince other people to vote with you on certain big choices here. Like, okay, do we give this guy up to the enemy or do we protect him? Type stuff. So
Yeah.
it seems to
Mhm.
be a little bit different in terms of like making decisions and choices. Like you might already have the choice that you want to make in your head, but you actually have to like take steps in order to do that or get there here. So I find that angle pretty interesting.
Yeah. Next up, Star Wars Hunters. No other information beyond that. We basically saw nothing.
Really not. No,
there's like a little bit of fighting going on, but you couldn't even tell. Like,
yeah, it looked like kind of arena based almost, at least like just from the trailer. But I'm guessing this is Star Wars Fortnite or like.
Did they say it was going to be free to play? I can't remember.
They did.
Okay,
yeah.
So this is going to be a free to play game. Cool. Sometime this year, we're going to get Star Wars Hunters, whatever that means.
Also, kind of cartoony graphics from what I was gathering. I mean,
yeah, very Fortnite-esque.
Yeah, definitely in line with Fortnite for the most part here. So
yeah. Okay, so this next one got me the most hype for the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. I would probably say the same for me.
Which is fitting because isn't it Zelda's 35th anniversary this year?
It is.
Yeah. Skyward Sword HD is on its way July 16th. A lot sooner than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Based on, this isn't like a small game. Now, here's the deal. I know there's naysayers out there for this game. I know there's haters on it. Personally, like when they revealed it, when they showed what's his name? Is it Bingo? What's the name of the bird?
Edgy Amora, you mean?
No, the
You're
bird.
talking about the guy. He's just called your Loftwing. I don't think he has like a official name here.
But anyway, when I saw that, I was like Skyward Sword immediately because the first shot is just the bird in the sky.
In the sky, yeah.
Yeah. And so this was great. I had so much fun playing through this originally. Me and my brother, I think, got it for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I didn't work for like 3 days, and I think we just blew through it. That was like the first Zelda game. Both of us were like about it, like the combat, like everything. Like, people could say what they want about the combat. I thought it was great.
Same here, yeah.
I love the design. So not only are they releasing Skyward Sword, they're releasing some Joycons to go along with it that represent both the Hyrulean Shield and the Master Sword. So your right-handed one has like the Master Sword emblem on it, and then your left-handed one will have the Hyrulean Shield emblem on it. And they're they're not the same color blue. It looked like they were two different colors of blue.
I think, like maybe just slightly different colors in the shade. I mean, if you're watching the video of this, I'll make sure to throw up a picture of what they look like. That way you can see what we're talking about here. But yeah, no, it's honestly super dope. I mean, I've been meaning to go back and play this game. And honestly, now I don't see any reason not to, now that we're going to get it in HD. We're also going to get like some dope Joy-Cons to go with it. I'm definitely picking those up, even though I'm typically not a Joy-Con guy. Like,
no, me either. I'm gonna get these if I can. I'm gonna try to pre-order my GameStop.
These are dope. Yeah. But man, such an underrated game, and I hope the chumps that were down on this game when it first came out, because it had motion controls in it and all that, are actually willing to give it a shot now that you can play it without the motion controls. Like, you can use the joys. I think it's the right joystick for
the sword, yeah.
Which, I mean, sounds kind of interesting. Like, I will definitely play around with it just a little bit. I mean, I still think I'll probably prefer the motion controls in all honesty, but yeah, I mean, it's so hopefully you pansies actually give it a shot as opposed to just, complaining and moaning about it all the freaking time. But yeah, I'm hoping that they do add some bonus stuff like they have been for like the last HD Zelda remasters. You had like you had like a couple like other things that were thrown in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to go back and play this here. But let's get to like the actual like big thing, the big announcement for.
So yeah, they're at so basically for the general sense of this whole direct was, we got the Smash thing at the beginning, which is like, oh, okay. And then we got nothing basically, except for Skyward Sword towards the end / end medal. Like, it was kind of, I don't remember where it was exactly thrown. Then the end, we actually got something, not anything amazingly great, but pretty dang good in my opinion.
I mean, this was the banger announcement.
It was
out of the whole direct.
But for being the first, that's where I'm going with this whole thing is, yes, for a direct, this would make sense. But when you haven't had one over 500 days, it kind of lessens the significance of it, in my opinion. But Splatoon 3 is coming next year, 2022. I'm about this, but why 2022?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion that we were going to get Splatoon 3 sooner rather than later, seeing how they stopped supporting Splatoon 2. I want to say like maybe about 2 years ago, I want to say somewhere around there.
Probably something like that.
Something like that. But I mean, they'll need to kind of convince me, like, okay, why did Splatoon 2 need a sequel as opposed to just updating the game, kind of like so many games nowadays are, like, Overwatch, Fortnite, whatever here, fill in the blank.
Yeah, I think the big thing might be there's kind of like to Overwatch 2, there's probably going to be some kind of story mode, it seems like, potentially.
Well, there's definitely is. I mean, I think that, and it seems like that's what they opened up with, where it's like almost like this desert post-apocalyptic.
Exactly.
Create
The
your
bus to the
character.
battle arena.
Yeah,
Type of
something
thing.
like that. Yeah, so yeah, I mean,
whoa, hold up. What if there's a battle royale component to this game?
I feel like, if
because we got that big arena shot.
Yeah, the wasteland shot. So
yeah,
I mean, it would be very trendy for them to do it. I mean, honestly, I would be kind of down to see a battle royale in Splatoon.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like, I'm kind of fatigued on a lot of battle royales by and large, but I would like to see Nintendo's take on it here. Just kind of see what they have up their sleeve, if that is something that they are planning on doing. But regardless, that being said, I'm probably going to buy this game. I mean, it's Splatoon. It's probably going to be something that you and I will be playing. Seabrecht and I will probably be playing as well. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you could be as mad about like the game as you want, but it's going to be one of those things where I'll probably just buy anyways. So,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is this does not bode well for Breath of the Wild 2. And they did say something about it, but they didn't give us anything. They're just like, hey, thanks for being patient. We don't have anything for you right now, but production's going along great.
Keep being patient.
Right. Not even a screenshot, not anything.
Yeah.
It was literally just the creator like talking about it.
Yeah. You should, like, I wish I recorded like my reaction like to that direct, because the moment I saw Edgy Anonuma, I always butcher his name, show up on screen, we're like, oh, okay, we doing it. We doing it right now here,
And he's like,
and then
just kidding.
He's just like, I know that when you saw me that you thought you were going to get Breath of the Wild 2. Not yet. I'm just like,
yeah.
Okay.
But Skyward Sword,
I mean, I'm like, okay, I'll take that as a little bit of a consolation. I mean, me personally.
That's pretty much what they're doing. That's what almost seemed like in the announcement. Was like, hey, Breath of the Wild 2 is not ready yet, but we have this other game coming out.
Yeah.
But that was kind of weird to me too. Typically, and maybe I'm just thinking outside the box, but it's cool we got the Skyward Sword. Maybe we get Twilight Princess later this year. I don't know, but
I could definitely see them bringing over Wind Waker and Twilight Princess over to the Switch. I mean, just because those are Wii U ports, that would be pretty easy, I feel like, to bring over. And I feel like those conversations had to have been happening like years ago here, in terms of like, when to port these. And it's Zelda's 35th anniversary. So there's
they might
do
a Mario, Zelda All-Stars or whatever.
Kind of, maybe
Mario did.
Yeah, like a 2-for-1 package. Who knows here? But
hopefully they got Majora's Mask on there too.
Ooh,
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, we'll see.
But yeah, this means Breath of the Wild basically probably isn't coming out until minimum 2023, in my opinion. If we didn't get shown anything, unless it's literally a bait and switch, like like maybe E3 or during that time when they do their direct. I don't know.
I mean, here's what I think could be a possibility. Now, I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up or anything on that, but I could definitely see them showing this game in detail at E3, just because, like, some of their big games, they kind of have been doing that previously, like with when they first showed Breath of the Wild, like an actual like gameplay and actual like E3 demo and all that. That one E3, it was out like about, I want to say, like 9 months later, somewhere around there, something like that. So, and then And then like with Mario Odyssey, they they basically announced that like at the beginning of the year it came out, showed it in detail at E3 and said, "Oh yeah, this is coming out in October here." So we could see that turnaround. Heck, even Smash Brothers was the same way here. We heard about it in like April of that year, got it or like saw it in detail at E3 that year, and then it came out in December. So I could see them totally targeting a holiday release, and I feel like they have the incentive to do it, seeing how it's Zelda's 35th. I kind of feel like, if there was a time to release a Zelda game, it would be now would be the time. But that being said, I mean, if the game's not ready, they won't release it. They're no CD Projekt Red. So
no.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. For me, the disappointment sets in, like after watching it, because I told my wife, I was like, hey, if I wake Bodhi up, I'm sorry, but this is basically like Christmas. And it definitely wasn't like Christmas. I was more pissed off than anything. We got no Mario Odyssey 2Ts. Like nothing like that.
Who even knows if that thing's real here?
We don't know. Or any successor. No Mario Kart Switch. Nothing like that. No Metroid Prime 4 reveal at all.
Which
no
it's
Bayonetta
also
3.
Metroid's right.
Yeah, Metroid.
Which, I mean, I don't really. It's Metroid's 35th this year. I really hope that. I mean, I don't expect there to be like any Metroid Prime for a while. I mean, seeing how that game
probably a couple years, yeah.
Essentially, that game got canceled and rebooted, I think, in 2019, somewhere around
there. Unless they're messing with us, man. They could be.
Yeah, but there have been rumors about like a 2D Metroid game coming to the Switch in some capacity. True. So I don't know if that's going to be a new thing or a possible Super Metroid remastered or remake or something like that. That'd be really dope. But yeah, I mean, no, the list goes on in terms of things that we just did not get here.
Yeah, no Star Fox, F-Zero, none of that. Like, but you know what? Here's Splatoon 3, and it doesn't come out for a year, which is frustrating. This direct was just kind of a mixed bag of disappointment for me, and it's like a little sprinkle of excitement with Skyward Sword, and a little bit of Splatoon there. But for this being the first direct in over 500 days, it was a letdown, 100%.
Yeah.
We got no big drops, and it was basically a bunch of mini directs crammed into one. I give it a D+ at best. If we're grading it, I give it a D+ at best.
I mean, here's the perspective that I'm coming with. I mean, if this was like, let's say we actually got like directs steadily last year,
way different, but we didn't.
This would be like, oh, okay, this was like, okay or decent or something like that, but the issue is like, this is our first major direct we've had in such a long time, and we were hopes were high for Nintendo to knock it out of the park, and they just didn't here. There was definitely stuff that I'm interested in and, that grabbed my attention, but nothing that was like major, like pretty much like almost throughout the entire direct. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Where are the bangers? Like, give me the bangers here, and I'm just hoping that this is like essentially a sign of things to come, that they're going back to like doing a major direct every 2 to 3 months. That way we're actually getting like exciting game announcements, going forward, as opposed to like doing these mini directs where there's just a bunch of games that I just don't care about here,
Yeah. No, I hope they go back to that format. I think they were kind of seeing how irritated people were getting, and then just looking at other YouTubers, their reactions of this. It was kind of the same as what we were feeling, especially Video Game Donkey. He had a really funny one about.
He really did.
That was so good.
That was one of his funniest videos that he's put out in a while here. Yeah. But no, I mean, man, it's like, yeah, I mean, well, especially considering how Nintendo had a pretty light year last year. I mean, like Animal Crossing came out, there was like a couple of like maybe C tier games, like, Age of Calamity,
there was
Paper
nothing.
Mario.
We could just call it what it
like,
is.
Couple of things to like kind of hold you over. I mean, Hades came out, which was dope and all
That's true,
that.
but that
But
was on PC before
right,
Switch, so
right, exactly. I mean, but by and large, it wasn't like there wasn't like a ton to sink your teeth into last year, and so I think we were kind of hoping that okay, this year is going to be crazy, and
yeah.
it still may be here potentially. But I mean, we're getting like some decent stuff this year. Monster Hunter comes out next month. Um, we're getting the new Ends with You and all that here. So I mean, we got some stuff. Like I have a more in depth list that I don't have like on me right now, but it definitely seemed like at least like every month there's like at least something there for the most part up to June. So
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll see.
In other news, Mortal Kombat, after us pleading with them, finally released a trailer.
Yeah.
They're kind of listening. So didn't show us much, but I'm glad we got something. Seems to
Yeah.
have a lot of like Sub-Zero versus Scorpion vibes, at least in the trailer. That was kind of the big
Yeah.
fight we
I mean
got to see.
that was definitely the highlight. Yeah, I think.
And then we got an idea of
But
kind of who we'll be following, and I'm going to call him the dude with the dragon tattoo instead of the girl with the dragon tattoo. But
I like
basically,
that. I like that.
it was just a guy who was fighting like in a gym, like UFC almost, and he has like this dragon, like the Mortal Kombat logo
The Mortal Kombat
on
logo.
him.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Yeah,
you're
and it's like
chosen type of
supposed to be a
thing.
birthmark or something like
Yeah, I
that.
don't
Yeah,
know. But basically, what was his name? Like Connor or something like that. Something weird.
they called him Cole.
Cole. Okay, yeah,
Called
that's
him
what it was. I knew it
Cole.
was a C. So I'm guessing he kind of represents us, the audience, and then because
Yeah,
he's not a character we know from Mortal Kombat. So I'm guessing we're gonna be following him, interacting with the Mortal Kombat characters.
yeah.
And we got a look at pretty much the majority of the ones in the movie.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
it's obviously
yeah.
going to be
No,
rated R. It's going to
yeah.
be very
Obviously,
bloody.
yeah.
So
I mean, as it should be. I mean,
right,
just given
yeah,
the source material. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I thought this was a pretty solid trailer. I mean, I love the stuff with like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, like, not just like, where they're fighting at the end, like, especially, I mean, even though that was pretty dope when like, Sub-Zero slices Scorpion and he like freezes his blood to make like an ice dagger and all that, I thought was really cool. But, even just like the things like, where like Jax is like, over and like trying to like hunt down Sub-Zero at the beginning of the
oh
trailer.
yeah, yeah, they're
That
kind of all intertwined.
building's covered in ice, and you have
Yeah, he gets his
him like
ice
trying to shoot
arms,
him, and he like freezes like the
his
barrel of the
arms.
gun and the bullets as they're coming out, so they're like super slow, and then
Yeah,
freezes his arms off, and that's how he gets his robotic arms.
yeah,
And then and like even just that flashback montage of uh Hanzo Hasashi before he becomes Scorpion,
yeah.
just
That fight, yeah,
killing guys in feudal Japan, I thought was dope as well. Um, I mean, two things out of this trailer that bugged me. For one, there was that one shot where Kano is like shooting the laser out of his like robotic eye, and it just looks so cheesy in my opinion. Here, like it just
yeah,
how it was, just how I don't know. I think it was just like how he was like acting or like how he looked when it came out of his eye, and then they totally botched the "get over here" line. Like
yeah. It
if
sounded very odd.
it was very
It was like,
muffled, and
"Get over here."
yeah, and I mean, like if I didn't know that was supposed to be the line because I was
Yeah,
like, you're expecting the line like at any point now, and then when they say it, it's like, okay, if
yeah.
I didn't know that was supposed to be "get over here," I would not have understood what he said.
No,
So
no.
hopefully they go back and they tweak that audio here.
I'm sure they will because I think they're getting a lot of crap for that. So
Yeah.
we got some comic announcements. Batman 89 and Superman 78. So
Yeah.
the Michael Keaton, Christopher Reeves interpretations will be getting their own universe, kind of, as far as in
Yeah.
comics.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. I mean, so what's going to be happening is it's going to be 89 basically is going to be retconning the Joel Schumacher movies, which I mean,
So we're gonna get
that'd
like a
be
Robin or
hilarious.
something, or
Well, they're going to do Billy D. Williams Two-Face here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they're going to bring back Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Right.
Both of these comics are going to be running for 12 chapters. It's going to be digital at first. They will have physical like prints and like hardcovers and paperbacks coming like later on in the year. Both will be launching in July. I mean, this is cool. I mean, I'm not super pumped about this. I don't know. What about you? I mean, you're kind of more of a Keaton fan than I am here.
Yeah, I don't really care about this, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
Not really. I mean, I might check out the first issue just from a collector's standpoint, but
Sure.
unless
But
they're like, hey, yeah, and this is who. Oh, and let's say have Marlon Wayans hop in there as Robin, because I think that was who was supposed to be
oh,
Robin in
really?
in the third film, but it didn't end up
Y-
going to Chris
Yeah.
O'Donnell because they
When
changed.
Tim Burton was still attached to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that I don't know. That could be cool. It's like an alternate universe type thing, like a what if. So maybe
Yeah.
it might be worth it. I don't know.
It might be. I mean, well, especially considering how, if the rumors are to be believed, Michael Keaton will be coming back as Batman in the Flash movie. This could be maybe like some backdrop, some backstory to that.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah. Could
Maybe.
be.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ryan Johnson is still attached to Star Wars and getting his own trilogy within that. So even after so much backlash with the Last Jedi, and I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. Well, especially considering how Rise of Skywalker was basically essentially like a almost 3-hour apology letter to fans for The Last Jedi here. Honestly, I would be really surprised to see if this thing actually pans out here. I
I
feel
don't think
like,
it will, but
I mean, well, because I mean, the thing is like, I think like, your average moviegoer, they're not going to really like look to see like who's directing it, who's attached to it. They're like, oh, it's Star Wars. Okay. I'll see that.
right.
Maybe that's what they're kind of going for. I mean, that being said, Ryan Johnson, he's talented. I just don't think, I think he's just better when he does his own thing here for the most
Yeah, like
part.
Knives
Like
Out. Yeah.
Looper, stuff like that.
Yep.
I think
I
I
agree.
think when you I think when you try to put him in a box, that's where things go awry.
Yeah. Um, in other news, Danny Elfman back at it again.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming on for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. What do you think about this?
I mean, this is cool. I'm kind of surprised Danny Elfman is not actually used more in Hollywood
I
because
thought he was like retired, like because I haven't heard of him in a long time.
I haven't either. But I mean,
It
I
was the
thought he came.
stuff.
I thought he came back like to do a little bit of like the Justice League score. I mean, they definitely used his Batman theme for yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, that I mean for
Mhm.
that movie. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think maybe we might get like a pretty memorable music for Doctor Strange. We'll see. I mean, I feel like a lot of the Marvel movie soundtracks by and large are pretty generic for the most part. I feel like,
Yeah.
or forgettable for the most, with a few exceptions. But yeah, I think maybe he might bring a little bit more panache to it here.
Yeah, we'll see. And then Black Widow still unconfirmed for Disney Plus, even though there were rumors a couple weeks ago that it was coming. CEO Bob Chapek said that Black Widow is intended to be a theatrical release, um, but they basically were saying, "But we can change that.
Yeah,
we're up to it." And I'm like, "Okay, well then you should have already done it because it's been a year."
yeah. No, this movie we would have already seen and talked about this movie already if it wasn't for COVID here and all that. So I mean, obviously, they delayed it already. It was supposed to initially, come out in May. They pushed it to November,
Mhm.
and now we're still kind of in the same boat. I mean, we're we're it's still kind of a big question mark, things up in the air type thing as to like when things will actually start, going back to how things are normally are. Yeah. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Marvel's got the rights.
They do.
They do. They now have control over the Punisher and Jessica Jones again. So be looking out for them and who knows
live
what
action stuff.
Yeah,
So
for live action.
I mean, both of these characters, dark, mature, not your MCU brand here for the most part. So I'd be curious to see what they do with them, if anything, for that matter. I mean, obviously we're getting Deadpool in the MCU, and we are getting him as a rated R character, but
right.
So I don't know if they're like just saying, okay, we got the main, Infinity Saga out of the way. Now we're kind of loosening the reins a little bit. We're gonna go into like a little bit more mature territory with like things like Blade, possibly here.
That would be sick. Yeah.
So we could be seeing like a little bit of like, okay, you guys grew up with us. Now we're kind of growing up with you here, essentially. So
kind of, or it's just expanding their audience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously DC is not afraid to, go that route here. I mean, but so we'll see. We'll see how things pan out.
Yeah. So looking at video game news, get back a little bit into that. Fortnite is going to be crossing over potentially with Street Fighter. Data miners have found clues as to what will be happening in the next chapter of Fortnite. And Suzaki's castle level has been discovered, and an alternate kind of Ryu theme has also been a part of that. And then they've also found a portal which kind of has a tear in it, and you could see the castle kind of through there on the Fortnite map is what it looks like. And they've also found 2 encrypted files, and it seems to point to Ryu and Chun-Li, at least giving their popularity. That's the characters or the skins at least you could get.
And that does make the most sense here in terms of that. Very. I mean, if they're trying to go with like their whole hunter theme for this season, like, and try to incorporate these two into that, you guys are really stretching that definition here. I'll say that much here. But so if there's a Ken skin that becomes available day one,
we'll see the price.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to, but
yeah.
I'm guessing you would just end up punching stuff for the materials.
Some Shoryukens, maybe.
It's anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's it for our nerd news. Let's head into our roundtable review. Dorian, what we got?
WandaVision, episode 7. So kind of a little bit of an odd episode. I mean, I feel like, it kind of had some stagnation to it a little bit, but it definitely is ramping things up. And we got some more answers to some questions as well. But let's start with you. Like, what are your thoughts on this episode so far?
It was an okay episode. The end being the best part, in my opinion. We got some really big reveals and full spoilers ahead for those of you who don't know. But we got the origin of Photon. So Monica Rambeau passed through the hex again, and she got superpowers.
She got powers.
She got the power. And then Agatha, the one who's friends with Wanda in whatever in the town,
previously known as Agnes.
Yeah. Is she, she goes, and then she goes, I'm Agatha type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Agatha
Harkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she does have magic like her comic counterpart. And there was like this kind of line. Basically, we got to see her perspective for a couple of the things that happened. And it says it's been Agnes all along. So now we're like, okay, what does this actually mean? I'm interested to see why she's been doing this. And maybe she's the real key to the Multiverse of Madness. We saw like basically Wanda kind of losing her grip on the hex in this episode, and that there was weird like kind of horror type stuff happening. And this was more shot in like a breaking the fourth wall kind of thing. I've never seen Modern Family, but that's what I hear it's like. And it was not just like The Office, but I mean, it was shot kind of similar to like Modern Family. And then I love, when so at the very end, there's an Easter egg after the credits where Pietro shows back up and Monica's trying to get into the basement of a house, which I don't think that's got to be Agatha's house. I don't think that's
it is.
Yeah, so and he's like, Snooper's gonna snoop. And he says Snooper's gonna snoop, and then kind of looks at her. So he's fine and he knows what's going on. It's just a matter of, okay, how are we all gonna wrap this up in the next 2 weeks? Is he actually, where's he from? Because he was brought there by Agatha. Now we know that. It wasn't Wanda's doing.
Yeah.
So still a lot of unsolved threads that need to be, tied up within the next 2 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts on this episode. So I did like the Modern Family / Office style that they kind of went with. And when I say that, I mean like kind of like where they're, doing the interviews, talking to the camera type thing here. Did leave some funny moments. Like there was like that one point where Vision's like, wait, why am I even doing this? I should be doing something else here,
Right.
And then he just like walks out, takes off the microphone and all that. But speaking of that, Vision and Darcy did get sidetracked for most of this episode. I mean, they met each other. They're kind of trying to get to the bottom of this. They're running into obstacles that are barring them.
Mm-hmm.
And Wanda in this episode definitely seems to be losing control of the hex, at least like when it's first the episode is first starting. Like it's the time period is getting all wonky.
Yeah.
Things are changing from like, the different like eras of sitcom, and she's struggling just to hold on to it. And by the end of the episode where you find out that Agatha Harkness was Agnes this whole time, which I mean, I had to look her up to know who
she's part of the Doctor Strange mythos.
Yeah. Well, and I guess she's also her and Scarlet Witch had more of kind of a complicated relationship. Not necessarily like she was like a villain in like the comics, I guess, but she at one point was like teaching Scarlet Witch, Wanda, how to do magic and stuff like that at one point. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see where the Pietro stuff goes, because I mean, if I was to take this on its face right now, it seems like, okay, this was just kind of a made you look kind of thing here. It wasn't like this was just something that Agatha conjured up, but we'll see, because I mean, there could be more to it than just her just conjuring up a version of Wanda's brother here. So
I think there will be, just because of like they constantly are asking a question like, who's this impersonator Pietro? And even Vision brought that up to Darcy, I think, or Darcy brought it up to him. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they keep bringing up Pietro. I don't think they're just going to leave it at, well, he just appeared. It's some different one. I think Agatha has ties
a connection to the multiverse or something.
Yeah,
like that.
because I think she has been trained in the same way that Doctor Strange has been trained.
That'd be interesting.
So yeah, I think that's all part of that. Personally,
that'd be very interesting. And then also, I lost my train of thought.
Well, that's okay. It all happens to the best of us. But yeah, overall, it was an okay episode. I liked the end of it.
I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, they definitely subtly pushed that there was more to Agnes this whole time here.
For sure.
I mean, like, for one, her being dressed up as the witch for Halloween last week, and then also her house definitely gives off those creepy haunted house vibes for sure. And then, the fact that how involved she's been and like how she always seems to have the things that Wanda needs, like when she needs them and stuff. And you assume that was Wanda's doing, but no, she was her free agent the whole time here. So it'll be
that's an
interesting to see.
interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see like how much of this thing, how much of this has she actually been a part of here in terms of like, the whole mind control aspect, people like being like enslaved in Westview. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm assuming she definitely had a hand in it.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine she didn't. So,
Right. Well, yeah, that's that, and
yeah. So
I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next 2 episodes.
yeah. So, moving on. So we have a new comic for you, Radiant Black. So
Yes.
you read this? I haven't. What's the lowdown on this?
So here's I got you can kind of hard to see, but this is cover B. This is the
Okay.
main cover. So I got a variant,
Nice.
which is pretty cool looking. So yeah, Radiant Black. Kyle Higgins is the writer behind this. Previously, he's the one that kind of rebooted the whole Power Ranger at Boom Studios, like that whole comic series, basically.
Okay.
And this is the first issue, and that's what it is. It's pretty decent. Classic superhero origin story. There are gonna be spoilers ahead. There's not a whole lot in this. There's not like, oh my gosh, like like obviously it's an origin. So
Groundbreaking.
yeah, so classic superhero origin
Sure.
based around Nathan Burnett, a failed 30-year-old writer who moves home after getting into a good amount of credit card debt. You don't really know why, but he's got like like $30,000 in credit card debt. He's just trying to make ends meet. Nothing's really
That
going his
sounds
way.
that sounds that sounds really close to Nathan Barnett here, and almost
Yes.
similar storyline too here.
Yeah. So as he's moving home, he runs into his childhood friend and goes out that night with him. And as they're leaving where they went that night, they run into this mini like black hole looking thing that was just kind of hovering in the air. And so Nathan reaches out to touch it and transforms into, I mean, I'm sure his name's going to be Radiant Black eventually because the comic's name's Radiant Black. So he gets this cool suit. We can maybe throw up some pictures of that later up in the podcast for those of you watching on YouTube.
Sure.
But yeah, so far his powers include telekinesis and flight. At the end of the issue, it has another person with a very similar suit to his, but with like red highlights that shows up, and it's kind of like, is he the villain? What's up with him? What's going on? And so all I know with this issue is that I'm going to pick up the next one.
Yeah, so as of right now, Radiant Black is like his own superhero. We don't know if he's like a part of like something bigger like the Power Rangers or the Green Lantern Corps or something along those lines here.
Well, I mean, Nathan gets this suit, so I don't know if there's like many of the suits out there, or because basically the line that you're left with is like you're one of a kind. Like he's got these new abilities, and then somewhere else this other dude shows up with almost a very similar suit, but with red highlights, red and black instead of black and white. And so I don't know if this is just like there's multiple phenomenons. There's gonna be this team, or he's gonna be the villain. This guy's gonna be the good guy. I don't know. Have any other information other than what was in the issue. So
is he Proto Man or something? Who knows?
Yeah, nobody knows. But he definitely has some superpowers going on, and it's kind of a Power Ranger looking suit. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Pretty cool art. The art's great. It's Marcelo Costa, I think is his name. Really good art, but yeah, it was fun.
So, now, what did the artist do anything notable before working on this?
I don't know. I'm sure they did. I don't know the name very well. So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't research him too much, but yeah, no, good issue. Yeah, so currently right now, I guess I'm reading as far as manga goes because I don't have any like manga reviews for this week or Japanese comic reviews.
Still working through Berserk.
Yeah, I'm working through Berserk. I have, and then right now I'm reading Demon Slayer. I'm 50 chapters into that. It's really good. So for those of you who wanted to check out the Demon Slayer thing, and the anime is really good too.
Which
check it out.
they did say that season 2 of that is coming out this year, so that's cool.
Yep. And then Mashl's been really good. So I think volume 1 of the physical comes out really soon, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll see.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all we got, guys. That's it. We are done. Thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can check us out on all our social medias. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe on YouTube there, and have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.